So everybody understand what's going on now? You know, some of these kids that use Robinhood probably say, "Well, I don't care. It's just a few cents." But wait a second. These young people using Robinhood and other trading apps. Remember, you can have trading apps that are part of a larger brokerage company. That doesn't make them a scam. I'm talking about companies that are only trading apps that have no other source of revenue. Now they're going to say that they make revenue, when people are on margin. That's all bullshit. That they're not making no money with that. If they're just exclusively trading apps, they're screwing you. So think about that. People using Robinhood and these other trading apps, these are the same people who they're anti-Wall Street, right? You're actually being duped to send Wall Street their money. Think about that. Think about that. And you got people on YouTube who are selling the links, pitching the links of these trading apps. They're partners with Wall Street. Think about that. So let's take a look at this article now and see what we have. And once again, the media, New York Times, all the other media, they only come out and talk shit about the crooks after everyone's been hurt, because they want to appeal to the public. But they're the ones that were taking ad money and promoting them and telling you that Robinhood's the next great thing a few years ago, weren't they? Of course they were. So there's a young gentleman here, I guess with his child, perhaps his wife in the background. Richard Dobatsi in San Diego with his family signed up for Robinhood in 2017 and said he lost, $860,000 in March. Wow. The first thing I'm thinking is is this story about Uber? You seeing a recurring pattern here, folks? All these companies that are promoted by the same people, by the way, if you look closely, and they have the support of their friends in the media and Wall Street, by the way, whether it's Airbnb, whether it's WeWork or Uber or Robinhood. I mean, I'm thinking this could be an Uber story, right? It's not. It's a Robinhood story. He lost a fortune. A Navy medic in San Diego. He signed up for Robinhood. It made buying and selling stocks simple and seemingly free. Notice that simple. Folks, the simplicity is part of the psychological tactic. Remember I talked about in a previous stream in this series, there's a need for barriers. People think it's the greatest thing that they have access to the stock market. I'm telling you, it's not. It's not. Because now everyone thinks they know what's going on. Oh, I did my research. Oh, really? Do you know how to do research? What's your research? I went on Motley Fool. I watched CNBC. I went on YouTube. Honestly, it's the worst thing that's ever happened to investing, is to allow people to trade stocks and to buy or sell stocks on their own. And when you're allowing people to buy and sell stocks, ultimately, for the majority of people, it ends up being trading stocks at some point. It's the worst thing. I don't care what anyone says. I know the deal. Okay, sometimes we need barriers in place because we're not capable of doing things. We may think that we are, right? He was charmed by Robinhood's one-click trading. That's a problem right there, folks. You see, this is the thing. People don't have the perspective that I do unless they've worked in the industry. That's why I'm saying, these online brokers, they're a problem too. They're all a problem, even before the trading apps. Why? Because there's no responsibility. There's no accountability, whether it's through Fidelity or Schwab or E-Trade. You can short a stock by clicking a button. You know how difficult it is for a financial advisor working at a major Wall Street firm to short a stock for one of his clients? You know why it's very difficult? Because it's very risky. But you see, once again, it's all about making more dumb money. Of course, most people can say, no, I want the ability to do it. Those are the dumb people. They can't take a step back and look at the big picture. I mean, I'm talking about people, even after I explain this, they're not going to agree. And then you got Mo on Everything Money pitching, shorting stocks and day trading. And, of course, they're doing kind of a Meet Kevin strategy now where they're going for the lowest hanging fruit. What's a traditional IRA? What's dollar cost averaging, right? Meet Kevin, right? He was doing stimulus check videos every day in 2020 to pull in those people. You understand what they're doing at Everything Money now? They're pulling in the most novice investors, and they're pitching the most risky things, and then they got them in their Discord. See, the problem with that Discord, that's like complete brainwashing. You see, you're going to get brainwashed into oblivion. They want to keep you there, secluded, isolated amongst the cult members, so you don't see what's going on. Everyone there becomes a cult. And if you deviate, you get kicked out of it, you see. Same thing on Facebook groups. I'm sure you guys have read this by now. Easy access, features like falling confetti and emoji filling phone notifications made it feel like a game. Made it feel like a game, right? Anyone sensing Joe Camel type of tactics? You understand, folks. This is part of the problem. Folks, let me tell you something. I'm obviously an experienced financial professional. I don't and have never and don't anticipate any time when I will ever use an app to trade stocks or to buy and sell stocks. And nobody should. If you're doing that, you're really walking on the road to ruins. Oh, well, it's easy and convenient. I can do it on the beach. Certain things, you go to your desk and you go to your computer and you sit back and you think about things and you treat things seriously. But of course, you see, people don't do that because of what this guy, what the author is writing about. These trading apps have made it like a game. That's Joe Camel tactics. It's illegal. So remember now, the two criminals that started this company, they used to work as programmers for high-frequency trading firms. And let's put this into perspective, into context here. Michael Lewis is a fraud. Michael, why do you think he's promoted by the media? Michael Lewis wrote a book on high-frequency trading, right? Did Michael Lewis talk about payment for order flow, which was clearly going on during that time? No, he didn't. Either Michael Lewis is an incompetent boob or he's a fraud. I think it's both. Just like he doesn't know what's going on, he comes out with a narrative that Wall Street wants. That's why he's promoted. Why did it take a catastrophe for anybody to understand what a payment for order flow was? High frequency trading by itself is nothing. It's no big deal. Okay? If you've got a faster connection than me, well, you paid for a faster connection. There's nothing unfair about that. Okay? If you want a fast connection, get a T1 line. Or I don't know if there's something faster now. I'm sure there probably is. Right? I mean, what's you could say it's illegal or you could say it's bad. Okay, fine. But it's a gray area. But when you're talking about selling order flow, that's fraudulent. You're selling your orders to for-profit funds that are gaming you. My point is that these two clowns that started Robinhood, they knew what was going on. That's why they started Robinhood. They knew what the deal. They were working for companies that were using high-frequency trading for the purposes of gaming the system through payment of order flow. It's kind of like thinking about a cryptocurrency. Let's say, think about Bitcoin. You can't think about Bitcoin too much unless you also connect it to the blockchain, right? You know, if you look at Bitcoin on an exchange, you have to look at the entire picture. High frequency trading is the engine of payment for order flow. But without getting that order flow, paying for it, high frequency trading is not really that, it's not that bad, right? You're competing with everybody else. But when you're buying orders and you're gaming the system, that's fraud, man. That's fraud. So in the first 3 months of 2020, Robinhood users used or traded 9 times as much. Look at that. In the first 3 months of 2020, Robinhood traders traded 9 times as many shares as E-Trade customers and 40 times as many shares as Charles Schwab customers per dollar in the average customer account in the most recent quarter. They also bought and sold 88 times as many risky options contracts as Schwab customers relative to the average account size. So think about that. What's that saying? That's saying that there's something about Robinhood that's structured to get people to do risky, stupid things, to trade more. That's why I say, look, I said this before. People pitching affiliate links for Robinhood, Robinhood is set up as Joe Camel to screw people. You can tell people, don't trade stocks. It doesn't matter. That's like giving a heroin addict heroin and telling him not to shoot up. Look at that. I mean, look at this. This is like insane. Tell me there's not something going on with what Robinhood is doing. Now, sure, part of it is the demographic, right? Part of it's the demographic, the young and dumb that don't know what's going on, that watch YouTube and watch the media. But it's also partly, of course, you don't have any access to Series 7 licensed financial advisors, right, in Robinhood. That's why I think in part Schwab is much lower, because they have a lot more. And you can easily speak to a Series 7 financial advisor. But the big thing, I think, is all the little bells and whistles that they create, make it like a video game and so on and so forth. I mean, you guys tell me. I've never used or seen Robinhood. You guys tell me. The more often small investors trade stocks, the worse their returns are likely. Studies have shown, of course. The returns are even worse when they get involved with options. Researchers found, of course. Yeah, so you all remember this kid who committed suicide because he thought that he had lost $730,000 in his account, and it turned out to be an error. I mean, that alone should have prompted major problems for Robinhood. They encourage people to go from training wheels to driving motorcycles. Scott Smith, who tracks brokerage firms at the financial consulting firm Serially, said of Robinhood. Folks, what's going on YouTube? Same thing on YouTube. Remember, these guys, these fake investment gurus were pitching Robinhood. And now, because of the, what's come out from Robinhood, what are they doing now? Well, they're pitching public.com. They're pitching other trading apps, right? At the core of Robinhood's business is the incentive to encourage more trading. This is the business model for all trading apps. Remember, they can't make any money, virtually no revenues, unless they're getting trading. So the more trading transactions they have, the more they can sell those transactions to predators, to criminal companies, to rip off the customers. And actually, the title of this live stream is what? It's Robinhood and all other trading apps are ripping off their customers. Well, in reality, that's not that true. It's only partly true. It depends upon the eye of the beholder, because actually Robinhood's real customers are the predators, right? The fake customers are the people that sign up for the brokerage account. You're not the customer. You're the victim. Here we go. This is exactly what I was saying before. So they're talking about payment for order flow. It's not new. It's been going on. This practice is not new, and retail brokers such as E-Trade and Schwab also do it. But Robinhood makes significantly more than they do on each stock, share, and options contract sent to the professional trading firms. You see? It's exactly what I said. For each share of stock traded, Robinhood made 4 to 15 times more than Schwab in the most recent quarter, according to filings In total, Robinhood got $18,955 from the trading firms for every dollar in the average customer account. I mean, this is not, is this a typo? I mean, is this a typo? Let me read it again. In total, Robinhood got $18,955 from the trading firms for every dollar in the average customer account, while Schwab made $195. Industry experts said this is most likely because the trading firms believed they could score the easiest profits from Robinhood customers. Of course. Look at this. Somebody tell me that Robinhood is not a criminal company. But folks, they're officially in the Wall Street Mafia now. All that's going to happen is a fine and they'll institute some new rules. You see how it works? That's the way it works in America. And I'll just go ahead and go on record. I've stated this before. Capitalism is in a crisis in America. It has been for quite some time. That's why I wrote America's Financial Apocalypse. I uncovered all these things. The stock market destroyed capitalism. Write it down. The stock market has destroyed capitalism in America. Capitalism used to be a fabulous system. It's in deep trouble now. I could talk about this for a long time. And remember, for those of you who don't know me, I've worked in various capacities for a number of years in the financial markets, including the private markets. Ashton Kutcher, who is invested in Robinhood, attended one of the company's weekly staff meetings on Zoom and celebrated its success by comparing it to gambling websites. I mean, Ashton Kutcher is now officially a scumbag piece of garbage. And he's celebrating its success by comparing it to gambling websites. That's exactly what it is as far as I'm concerned. It's actually worse than gambling websites. It's worse. Mr. Kutcher said in a statement that his comment was not intended to be a comparison of business models nor the experience Robinhood provides its customers. Yeah, okay. So his attorney basically came out with that response. What a scumbag. These guys belong in jail. I want to read about some Robinhood customer who lost it all and is not happy. He sees what actually happened. I want to read about maybe he confronts these guys. That would be interesting. So, before Robinhood added options to trading in 2017, Mr. Bott, the Indian guy who his co-founder, scoffed at the idea the company was letting investors take uninformed risks. The best thing we can say to those people is just do it. You know, listen, folks, this is all this is allowed to happen because Wall Street's making all the money. And of course, I talked about this before. The media is playing into this whole thing. They created this false narrative, which you're not going to ever hear about other than from me. The false narrative is what you're hearing about with GameStop and the meme stocks. The narrative that all these kids believe is that, yeah, we beat the hedge funds. We went after you and we got you. That's not true. That's false. And the media creates all these stories to cement that bogus idea. I explained this before. Do you actually think that if GameStop is soaring, and this is a company that the analysts have it right. I talked about this in my research a few years ago. GameStop doesn't have a future. They need to radically do something, and I don't see a lot that they can do. Ironically, with the high stock price now, they have an extended lifespan that they can buy more time. AMC, same thing. And what do you think the future of movie theaters is? My point is that, do you think that really if GameStop is soaring, you think that all the 20-year-olds out there with their Robinhood, they're buying the stock, and the guys that are short are just sitting there What about all the other investors, all the other hedge funds, and all the other Wall Street traders? They're just sitting by and just saying, well, guys, sorry. You understand what I'm saying? When professional investors, when hedge funds see something move like that, they jump aboard. It's Wall Street that made all the money off of GameStop. They're the ones that pushed it up. You see? That's what you're never going to hear. They got all the money. Now, the spark was started by the kids, but think about it. Once all this stuff is igniting, and then the media starts to talk about it more and more, I mean, do you really think that the Wall Street predators aren't buying the hell out of it, knowing the media is going to keep pushing this narrative? I mean, you all understand? It's just common sense, right? That's what happened. That's the reality. Now, did a couple of funds get blow up? Yeah, sure. But Wall Street, the hedge funds made so much more money than they lost. If you look at the whole industry, they gamed this whole fake narrative to make a lot more money. I'm telling you. That's the truth. That's the reality. But you see, as long as the little man thinks that they can do something, they're going to keep doing this. They're going to keep putting their money in and doing all this stuff. And it's dumb money, folks. It's dumb money being fueled by disinformation in the media, insane disinformation and incompetence from YouTube and online everywhere else. Wall Street loves it. They want you all to think. They hope that you think that you can take down hedge funds. They want you to think that meme stocks are going to make you rich because they're going to scoop up more dumb money. This is what people don't understand.
terms of getting back as an investor, if it's coming down to here, almost irrespective of what's going on, I have to believe, if I have to make a call in advance, and of course I can change depending on what happens, but I have to believe this is where you want to start doing that 18, 17, around there. Their earnings report is a complete game changer, at least for quite a while. Bottom line, NVIDIA now is going to enter the realm of Tesla, Apple, and all these other big, I mean, listen, NVIDIA can come down to 150, come down to $100. If you don't think it's possible, then you don't understand how the market works. I mean, listen, NVIDIA can come down to 150, come down to $100. If you don't think it's possible, then you don't understand how the market works.